Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page again. It is Andrew the Collector here. Well, here we are again. We have a new set that's just about to come out, along with a brand new format that is going to come up as a result of it. And so with that, we are here once again to talk about my top three, three lists of the top 5 meta, rogue, and budget lists. We do this every time that the format is about to make a drastic change, whether it's with a new ban list or whether it's with a new set or new format or whatever is going to make an entirely new game state. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the top 5 meta decks for the current format post Infinite Forbidden. And I just want to kind of keep in mind that this list is a little bit more narrow-sighted than my other ones because there isn't going to be a whole lot of change, at least I think, in terms of representation, because the big difference between these lists and my previous ones is that there were so many different archetypes and different lists that could make the top cuts. But with the changes that have happened with Infinite Forbidden, the format does technically change, but not a whole lot of different decks are going to be represented. So I kind of had to narrow my viewpoint in terms of what I wanted to put on here. But I'll go ahead and get into that as the list goes on. So let's start out at number 5. Number 5, I'm kind of going on a bit of a stretch here. It's going to be the Voiceless Voice / Melodious deck. I've stated before that I do not like Voiceless Voice as a pure deck, and that statement still stands even more with this version of the deck. Because a lot of people, when it first came out, were going like pure Voiceless Voice with a few extra ritual splash engines in there. But they started to experiment a little bit, and they've settled on a Voiceless Voice / Melodious build. Mainly because they're both fairy archetypes, so it kind of melds that way, where they can add in Herald of Orange Light. But yeah, this deck is absolutely disgusting. I faced this at a locals a couple weeks ago, and he was able to set up a board not only with Imperm that goes into an Appaloosa, but he also had the Odd Eyes Fusion Monster that is a negation, along with the Voiceless Voice Ritual Monster that was also a negation, and their trap card which pops a card. So yeah, it's an absolutely disgusting deck that can absolutely combo off if you are not careful. So definitely be on the lookout for this one, and keep your Evenly Matches and Dark Ruler No Mores in the side deck. Next, we're going to go into number 4 is going to be Yubel. Yubel has taken a huge leap from from Rogue, I believe, from my last list, all the way into meta. And you can thank the new Fiendsmith cards for that. They probably would have gotten here eventually, even without the Fiendsmith stuff, because this deck, it's just so broken. You may have noticed the list that we posted up last time. That was more of with Scott the Fanatic. That was more of a pure build. This one I'm talking about not only has the Yubel cards, obviously, but the Fiendsmith and the Unchained. That deck specifically is the one I'm referring to. While Yubel as pure, it's still a deck to be reckoned with regardless, but that one I'm talking about specifically. But not only does this give the deck an extra level of versatility and consistency, but also extra plans for interruptions or to break your opponent's board with what the Fiendsmith does. Because it not only allows you to send a card that your opponent controls, but it also brings out one of their fusion monsters, which can do non-target negation cards, which is a quick effect, by the way. Absolutely broken. But yeah, you're going to hear me talk about Fiendsmith coming up pretty soon. But yeah, I am definitely feeling confident of playing Yubel at number 4. Number 3, this one is kind of a mid-range, because there's not a whole lot that I've been able to find on White Forest, but it's definitely a deck that you got to keep on your radar, because I have seen some gameplay with it. Not only can they run it with the pure version, but they also have been splashing in the Snake Eyes with it too. So you definitely want to keep a lookout for this one. It's really unclear with how well the deck will do against certain decks. You could look up a few replays like I have, but they're kind of in the mid-range right now. They could get a lot better, or they could fall by the wayside. So I feel confident enough to put them at number 3 for now, but it could change as the format goes on. One that I know I am definitely confident in putting at number 2 is one that has remained number 2 for quite a while, is Tempe Dragons. I love this deck. I've play tested it a few times online, and I like it. It's really good, and it just got a lot better with their new Tempe Dragon that came in Forbidden. You know, it's a lot more consistent. It's a battle phase focused archetype. It's a going second deck, which is unheard of nowadays, and it's really simplistic. All you really need to do is just activate the field spell, go into your battle phase, get out a monster, and then synchro summon into heavy beat sticks and just beat your opponent down. It's a lot like the strategy is a lot like Ancient Gears, and I love Ancient Gears too. I guess I'm just very narrow-minded when it comes to battle phase archetypes. I mean, I play Rorox for Pete's sake, but that's another topic. But anyway, yeah, Tempe Dragon at number 2. With their new deck, with their new card that they just got in, I definitely think that this deck is going to skyrocket with meta representation. And that brings us into number 1. If you haven't guessed, it's Snake Eyes, obviously. This deck is probably going to be the most represented deck of the entire format, or at least until next month, which apparently we're going to get a list next month. But yeah, every format of this deck is going to be number 1, whether it is the White Forest, it's Pure, if it's Fire Kings, if it's with Rescue Ace, if it's with Fiendsmith. There's so many different varieties of this deck that you can run. It's absolutely nuts. So when I was at the beginning of this video, when I was talking about representation, this is what I was talking about, because Snake Eyes is going to take up most of deck representation. Tempe Dragons, Voiceless Voice, Yubel, any other deck that can utilize the Fiendsmith engine, those are going to take up the other spaces, but those are kind of narrow and far between as compared to Snake Eyes. That was what made it so hard making this list, because I could make an entire top 5 list of just Snake Eye variant decks, and I felt that would have been a little bit unfair in terms of representation. But I just wanted to point that out, that you are most likely going to be seeing mostly Snake Eye decks or Snake Eye variant decks in this format, at least until they get hit in the next list. Which Konami, I don't even know why I bother asking, because you're probably not going to be listening, but hit them in some way. You need to neuter them. It's getting out of control at this point. If you want to sell your new cards, you definitely need to change up the old formats and make way for the new stuff. But anyway, until then, thank you guys for checking out our videos. If you want to see more, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down below for notifications. And as always, we will catch you guys in the next one.